Hello gamers from around the world, this is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and I would like to welcome you to today's episode of the World of Gaming, your number one podcast where we discuss everything that the world of gaming has to offer, games, news and technology, and there weren't that many news this week, but we still have a couple of good things to talk about, and we do that today, of course, not just with this amazing community, and I already see a lot of familiar names in the chat, but I also have a very special guest. I don't think that he needs an introduction, but he gets one anyway, because Dila recently passed the 110,000 subscriber mark on his YouTube channel. I want to say big congratulations to that, and welcome to the show.
I appreciate that, man. And first and foremost, chat. I'm a little sick. Okay, I don't really tweet about that kind of stuff or anything, but I'll just let you know that's why I sound like some kind of changeling or something. I want to also say thanks for having me on the show. And obviously, guys, if you're new here, subscribe and hit the like button and all that stuff. And thanks, 110,000. Been doing this for years, man. And I just appreciate everyone that still continues to power the channel to this day. The last video blew up, 212,000 views or something like that on it so far. But now we just need Xbox to drop some news so we can make another video, right? You know.
Yeah. We all are waiting for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. No, it's awesome to have you on the show. You know, I've been following your channel for a long time. It was like sometime in the lead up to the launch of the One X is where I discovered your channel, and I've been following you ever since. Really enjoy the content you do, the honesty you bring, and so I'm excited to have you on here today, man. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, of course. And again, like we were talking pre-show, but I'm not going to tell them about your job. But, I was saying the last time we spoke, it was Boxenberger setting up Movie Maker to start making videos and stuff. And to see you do your thing and come, so I'm subscribed to you, of course. You're doing good work, man. So keep it up.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, it was really awesome of you to help me out at the very beginning of the channel.
I mean, I'm not saying I helped you do that or anything. I'm just saying that's the last time I remember is before you had a channel. And now look at you, man. Look at you.
Look at that. Yeah, it was a fantastic journey so far, and it was. I remember all too well you giving me advice at the very beginning, and that is something you just do behind the scenes without making a buzz about it, and that's really awesome, man. That you do that for people in the community. So, yeah, just a little housekeeping here, guys. If you guys are listening after the fact on the podcast services around the globe, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever, it would be awesome of you to leave a review. Hopefully a 5-star if you enjoy the show, but this really helps these little shows out on these podcast channels. So I would appreciate that. And I also want to say a big thank you to Fanto Sir for becoming a channel member. Appreciate the support, man. You get now early access to all the videos, as well as custom-made badges and emojis. So appreciate the support, man. And Dealer, I want to start the show, of course, a gaming podcast with a little bit of talk about the games that we play. So I want to hear from your side. What has kept you busy?
Well, Forza Horizon 5 has been big here lately. I've been going back and God, I gotta fucking talk harder or something because I can't stand the way I sound right now. Forza Horizon 5 is definitely something I'm still playing to this day. We're tuning a lot of cars, getting ready for Hot Wheels. I expect to be playing that soon. And Call of Duty Vanguard, Zombies, Not a big fan of Vanguard in general, but, Zombies is a little different. Change of pace and desperate times call for desperate measures, guys. So, yeah, that and you can just check my games feed. I've been playing a ton of stuff, guys. It's I can't wait for some new stuff, Boxenberger. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait for. I finished a lot of indie games recently. Played through some of the smaller ones, and so I had the urge to play something big, a more AAA game, and I wanted to play Cyberpunk again. So I bought it actually again on PC. end of last year, I bought a new PC. Wanted to see now how Cyberpunk runs on a 3080. But man, that game keeps crashing on me. It is like every 10 minutes.
But PC is perfect, Boxenberger.
Yeah, I heard that.
What's going on, man? We're losing the Xbox guys to the PC. What's happening?
Yeah, I don't know.
Series X just came out. You know, you don't need no PC.
Yeah, dude, it's like always when people say, "Yeah, I'm just gonna play it on my PC." Honestly, I don't think that a lot of console gamers actually switch to PC gaming because it is just always work. It is. So yeah, I moved on and played it on the console again. So I have a little footage here. Just let that run. I need to change the overlay as well. So here we go. On the Series X now with the next gen patch, it runs beautiful. Now I didn't have any issues so far. I'm like, I don't know, 6-7 hours into the game now, and yeah, having a lot of fun with that. And I don't know if you have played Age of Empires 4, but man, I'm addicted to it. I just can't stop.
Yeah, I actually booted it up recently for the first time. I was holding off for the console version. We didn't hear anything about a console version at their showcase. So I'm like, well, I was told that's supposed to be coming. And we still don't hear nothing about it. So, I booted up on PC and I played a level and I'm like, damn, I love RTS games, but I don't mind playing them on console. I just want to play everything on console. That's just me. And I'm just holding out for that damn thing on console, man.
Yeah, I do hope that console port comes. We have been hearing about that port for, I want to say, at least 6 months now, and no official announcement. So yeah, it's mainly the only PC game I play at the moment, honestly. I'm just like you. I prefer to play on console. So if I have the choice, I usually go for the console version.
Understandably.
Yeah, absolutely. So cool. I haven't played Vanguard yet. I skipped that one. It just didn't appeal to me. So
we've been playing a lot of, like I said, the zombies and stuff. So if you want to, if you end up picking it up, let us know. Anybody in the chat out there, message me on Xbox and we can slot somebody in, here and there.
Yeah,
it's a fun time.
I can imagine, especially if you're playing it with friends. That's usually a fun time. All right, man. Let's get into some of the topics. I just want to open up with something that just happened. I don't know if you had the chance to watch it, but Ubisoft just revealed or re-revealed Skull and Bones.
I know we moved the show back a few minutes to actually check that out. And shout out to everybody who's actually going to watch this show during the deadest time in the universe, right? They did just reveal that, and it kind of looks like what I expected based on what we've seen before, right? I mean, what were some of the biggest changes you noticed, and did they announce anything gameplay-wise that's different? Can you get out of the boat now at all?
Oh yeah, you can. You can get
so
out
they
of
changed
the boat.
That.
They changed that. You can. They've shown little snippets of you walking around the harbor and its pirate city, and but I don't think that there is a lot of gameplay there. It's more like you can walk to the traders and sell your stuff, your loot, and whatever, and upgrade your ship there and stuff like that. I actually played that game I want to say 2018 or was it 2019 at Gamescom. They had a playable demo there, so it's really weird to see that game now 4 years later. The biggest change I noticed is in the version I played, it was when you steered the ship, and the combat was really like it was in the Assassin's Creed games. Yeah, so very direct steering of the ship and direct firing, and it didn't look to me like that's the case anymore. It's more like heavy ships now, and you have a lot of stuff to manage on the ship during the gameplay. So yeah, I wasn't blown away, honestly. I expected a little bit more graphic-wise. Ubisoft games usually look good, but if I compare that to the visuals of, Assassin's Creed Valhalla or something, which is already almost 2 years old now, I wasn't really blown away. So what did you think from the visual appearance?
Yeah, it's got a particular art style about it. I did notice some rebranding on the logo, I think. Like they redid the logo, and I do like the fact that they're going deeper into customization. That's always a plus, pretty much in any game, right?
Yeah,
if I get a ship, I want to be able to make it my own, and this game is going to do that better than Sea of Thieves. And that's something that if you are into these types of games, that's cool, because they're giving you more varied levels of customization, not just, a set of sails or different hit cannons or figurehead. Like they're going a little bit deeper with all that stuff as well, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So yeah, it's cool to see it actually come out. Like we had known not where this game was forever, but it looks a good amount different than the AC Black Flag combat that we all instantly referenced back in the day when they first showed it off.
True. Up front, I heard a lot of people talk about, is this gonna be the Sea of Thieves killer? So what was your impression? Is this gonna compete with Sea of Thieves, or
what didn't they say that about Studio Wildcard's attempt? What was that game called? Atlas or something?
Atlas,
yeah, everything is Atlas was an Atlas killer. I mean, we got to see it come out and do its thing. I think Sea of Thieves has captured something, for lack of better words, magical. There's something that has some people very hypnotized with that game, and I don't know if it's the way it looks. It's phenomenal looking. The art style is very beautiful, especially for the art style. The game looks great. Some of the best HDR I've ever seen in my life, and I think some of those colors and that character design really draws in a certain audience, and that game has flourished quite well on Game Pass. Skull and Bones is going for an audience that maybe isn't usually into pirates as much. Compared to Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is going right for them. Skull and Bones maybe is going for a little bit older of an audience that, like all this additional customization and stuff like that. I don't know. I might play that more than the Sea of Thieves, if I'm honest.
Yeah, same. I'm not a big fan of the Sea of Thieves. Nothing against the game. It's just not for me. Because like you said earlier, I like customization that has actual impact. Yeah, so I want to upgrade my weapons. I want to upgrade the armor, may it be of my character or the ship or whatever. Yeah, so I think also that this a little bit more adult approach appeals more to me.
Is there a level up system, RPG system at all in there?
I'm not really sure. They talked a lot about upgrading your ship, so I don't know whether it will be like an RPG that you have like real levels of the ship, or if you just can attach different cannons, different, I don't know, defensive systems or something like that. We shall see. I didn't get that from the trailer. Briefly want to read a super chat from Gaming Forte. He says, that game looks boring as hell. Where was the off-ship gameplay? Oh, that was actually in the trailer, and they started a stream right after that thing finished, where the character was walking around the main harbor of the game. Have a good show, Boxenberger, and shout out to Dealer for stopping by. Definitely shout out to you. Thank you, Gaming Forte.
Shout out to Forte.
Absolutely. I need to get back to him. I wanted to have him on the show as well, but we always had problems with the time differences. That's just being in Germany, and then the US can be challenging.
So. I like this, man, because this is a podcast, a little bit more during the day. You get to catch both the UK and the American audience. It's also, hey, it's just kind of a nice time to podcast. You got some energy. You're talking about everything that's hitting, a couple hours ago in the news cycle. It's nice, man.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, that's
my also.
Yeah, man. It's with RDX. It is for me sometimes really hard to catch because you start at like 2 a.m. And as much as I love you guys, but that's catching it live is really something.
I hear you, brother.
Yeah. Nice job, by the way, on this week's episode. I really liked it with the developer Joe on. That was really cool. Cool episode.
Yeah, I mean, I wish. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna say what I want to say about all that, but I just I wish. Sometimes I just wish people knew what people thought they knew. You know what I'm saying? And they just had things figured out, and we could just kind of have a informative conversation. And it really sucks about well, everything's happened with those studios. I said it yesterday on Boom Show. Usually on RDX, as you might know, we don't necessarily preach at people about what they should and shouldn't do. That's something that actually happens a lot on Twitter. That's fucking annoying. Everyone telling each other how to live their fucking lives. Me personally, it's obvious you shouldn't show people pictures of your tiny ass dick, and you definitely shouldn't leverage it as a weapon for game date releases. And it certainly did not work. Sony released that date before it leaked, at the very least, and things like that, dick pics, stuff like that. That's first defense. Only you can protect yourself against those. It's called the block button. It happens to everybody. It's so damn common. You can see one in Fight Night or Fight Club for crying out loud. Like, it's not anything new, but it's the doxing and stuff, as I brought up on Boom Show. That's the stuff that is seriously harmful and can affect your family. That's something that they were doing to some of these developers and stuff. Not to veer too far off traffic, but Joe was definitely a victim of that, getting a hold of his Facebook information and stuff like that.
Like private address and stuff. That is that's really where the fun part ends. This is really harming the lives of the developers, and in a way more than just a dick pic or a stupid comment on Twitter or social. And I think the problem is with, like, when we say this on these podcasts, like, don't do that stuff, the people that do this, don't take the time to listen to our podcast. They have, I don't know what's wrong with them. I think, like, everyone here knows that they are not supposed to do that. And
not
like
that we wouldn't say, hey, don't do that, but that's literally we're preaching to the choir at that point. The chat already fucking knows. They're logical people by and large, and we certainly don't spend 20 minutes preaching about why it's bad. But Boxenberger, tell us and be honest, why were you the one that sent all the dick pics for the release date? We know it was you, Boxenberger.
Yeah.
There's a little German flag in the background. We saw it. We know it was you, Boxenberger.
You know what? I just used that as a segue to the next topic I want to actually talk about.
There we go.
See, that's the release date of God of War. We have it. It's not 11/11/2022. Like I've seen a lot of people say that this is gonna happen. God of War coming this year. You think they are gonna keep that release date?
Of
is
course.
It actually coming?
The game's already been delayed once. We've never thought that it was anywhere other than 2022. We knew it wasn't coming in 21. So this is certainly the date. They just dropped it in a trailer and a tweet, and it's. I'm excited for it. I just love God of War 2018, one of my favorite games of all time. And when people, I don't know, man. That also leads us into, Sony have something pretty significant this year. Again, it's like the fourth game. And, not that that's, you got, games take time and stuff, but you definitely have to address the situation, and hopefully Xbox has some stuff to counter them next year. But God of War coming out this November. Did you play the last one, Boxenberger?
Oh yeah, multiple times. I did another my third playthrough when the PS5 patch dropped. I love that game. It is, like you said, it is just an epic game. It's a masterpiece, one of the best games of the last generation.
I mean, it's that or Witcher 3, best game of all time. Honestly, I mean, the Master Trilogy as a whole to me comes close, but there's just. God of War does so many things and weaves them all together so well. I've never seen anything like it. And, Witcher just makes up for some of its shortcomings story-wise that God of War might have with just exceptional length and just the best side quest you'd ever, or maybe never played in your life. God of War 2018 is phenomenal. I'm on my third playthrough as well. And when they dropped this date, man, I mean, it put a lot of people thought this was going to be delayed, Boxenberger.
I know. And I was like, at the beginning of the year, I wasn't sure. When we got all these delays of games in January and February, I wasn't sure either. But over the last months, people like Cory Barlog were so confident that this game is still going to hit. And even after they announced that release date, I've seen so many people say, yeah, it's gonna get delayed, just wait. But seriously, if you like, what now, 4 months prior to launch, and that's the time when you announce the release date, I think you're pretty confident about
and that was when they announced God of War 2018's release date was 4 months before launch.
Yeah, so there you go. I didn't remember that, but yeah.
The 9th is Odin Day. That's apparently why they're doing it on the 9th.
Oh, that's a nice touch. That is a nice touch, yeah. It also broke some records. It got like 1 million likes on Instagram in the first 24 hours, which is apparently a record for a game announcement on social media. So,
what was the previous record holder?
I have no idea. Benji Sales, the guy from Twitter that tweets out all these things. He posted that. So
I thought you were going to say the Bungie movie with the dog. I was like, what? Yeah, that's. I'd like to know what the previous one. Chat, if you know, let us know what had the previous record.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome in November. Definitely gonna take a day off when that comes out.
or three, right?
Or three. Yeah. I have to be careful. I only have like 5 days left for the rest of the year. And
what you been doing? Shit, you've been using days up.
Yeah, I was like changing jobs last week, so I had to take a couple of days off prior to changing the jobs, and a couple of things with the kids this year. So yeah, and it is like it is. But I also got a lot of overtime, so I might compensate for a day or two. So
gotcha.
Yeah. Then I want to talk to you about something else. Today, Xbox announced that they will be at Gamescom. So obviously you have booked the flight because you want to fly over here and play Xbox big fall holiday season game Pentiment live on the show floor, right?
Already there.
Already there. Yeah. Xbox.
So they said they're going to be at Gamescom, right? When is Gamescom, for those that don't know?
At the end of August, August 25th to 27th are the public days, and prior to that, they have like 2 days that are just for the press. It's what I said always. E3 should also do, like have a day or two just for the press and influencers, and then have a few public days on the show floor. But yeah, maybe that's going to change next year, because also E3 announced today that they partnered up with that company, the name slipped my mind, that is also organizing PAX and all these events. So yeah, maybe E3 next year is going to be a little bit different.
They're getting a little tag team. They're like, we got to take Keeley down. He's really messing this up for us.
Yeah. He immediately started tweeting about his Summer Game Fest 2023. So I think he's
like, no one's taking this from me. Yeah, I mean,
it's fine.
Yeah, he's definitely got that shit on lock. It's crazy that publishers throw these big things at Keeley, right? And, I never really hear many, if anyone, really say, I love the part where Jeff Keighley's on the stage and the weird pants and the fucking shoes and the bands that are playing, weird, old 90s Blink-182 or whatever Jeff Keighley's listening to that day at his events. Like people just complain about a lot of that. But, on top of that, when Jeff is unveiling something like a Series X for the first time ever, and then you look at his face at the announcement, and it's like he just farted and he's standing in his own fart and he's like, what the fuck? And he walks away like he just doesn't even care. For a guy like that, it's being handed such big things like Hellblade and, obviously a brand new console, you think he'd show a little bit more interest,
Perfect Dark was also revealed there.
What were they thinking on that one though, Boxenberg? Like the game's like 4 years away. Like 3 or 4 years away, what was the point? No, nobody was asking for Perfect Dark even, just make a new IP, but they had to do it. It's Xbox,
It is like it is. I don't know. That game is now 4 years in development. 2018 was when the initiative was founded.
Holy shit! So, it has been 4 years.
Yeah. It's sometimes I made a video about 2 or 3 months ago on. I did a little research on basically all Xbox announced first-party games and how long they have been in development. And honestly, I was sometimes a little bit shocked. Like Fable was Well, do you know by heart when was Fable the first time mentioned by Playground?
Well, I know when they started grabbing people, which is late 2017.
Yeah, exactly. In 2017, in the fall, they said that they're working on an action RPG, and the first rumor of Fable being handed to a British developer was from January 2017. So that game is now 5 years in development, which is crazy to think about. Yeah.
Do you remember who started that rumor?
It was Peter Molyneux. He talked about.
That's pretty credible, right?
Yeah. He talked that he had heard that the Fable IP was handed over to a British developer, but he can't say which. So that was
shout out to Peter, the ultimate insider.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. So after the showcase, and I heard, of course, your opinions on the showcase.
What'd you score it? What'd you give it?
I scored it at immediately after the show, 6.5. I raised that a day later to a 7. I think like there were a couple of really good things at the show, like that they focused on gameplay. I loved that. No CGI gameplay. Really appreciate that. And of course, some of the games they shown looked amazing, like Forza. It looks fantastic. Obviously, can't wait for Starfield. Yeah, Diablo. Awesome. So there were really good games there, and they have shown them with gameplay. But I had two issues with the game, with the show. The first is that there's really nothing for 2022. I just think it's not good that you get people excited in 2018 by buying all these studios, and then 4 years later you have the worst year in the entirety of your brand. Yeah, 14 months without any significant releases is. I don't think that's good.
14 months, you said?
Yeah, I mean, November was Halo, and the next game comes out February. That's like at least 14 months. So.
Are you talking the next February? Yeah.
The next February.
Yeah, Forza, Halo. Yeah. It's 14 months.
I'm not counting Pentiment, obviously.
You gotta bring it up, because the second you say Xbox aren't releasing any big new first party games, that's the first thing I hear, somebody saying you're sleeping on Pentiment. Yeah. No, I'm already asleep on Pentiment. I already fell asleep. I didn't even hear that, because I that's not something that has my hype up. And you have to look at it from because here's the thing I notice. When you tell people about, Xbox not delivering software like we've been doing for a long time, right? They'll deliver stuff. We will praise the hell out of them for it. We'll talk about it. We're hyped over it. They love it. But then when we talk about, hey, it's going to be 14 months and there's no big first party games, then it's just like, you got to take the good with the bad, guys. It's called honesty. And, I hate being negative about this stuff. Try not to harp on it, but it is an issue. And the more I see people damage control in the chat and stuff, it makes me go harder. Honestly, I'm just being honest. Because 2013, that's how 2013 happened. They only heard a certain group of people, and they decided to do things a certain way. And it's honest. It's good to keep, critical opinion out there. That's my alarm there. Sorry. But, point is, it's Pentiment. Yes, it's a game that's coming. It's got some talent behind it. It's not necessarily something that's got me hyped to fire up my $500 high-end version console to play, right? I want to push visuals with that on an OLED. And there's a reason I'm excited for games like Callisto Protocol, games of course, the Resident Evil 4 remake, games like even Gotham Knights, though they should definitely find a new trailer guy and learn how to upload it at 60 FPS. And also, there's a bunch of games in October alone, third-party stuff, you know. But Pentiment is not one, and we're not saying that there's no games to play on Xbox. No, of course there are. We're not saying that there's no Game Pass games that you don't have left, or backlog you don't have. We're talking about the reality of what is coming from a particular group of studios, and it's more the principle that matter, not that we won't survive, right?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. I'm fully behind what you said. It's like first party is is the way to give your platform an identity, and that's just missing this year. It's like you said, there are other games coming. I'm looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy.
In the background on one of the commercials this year, they're gonna have the scorn dick coming out of the wall because they don't got no Master Chief or nothing coming out this year. They're gonna have like a action shot hype trailer, and you can see the fucking weird umbilical cord slurping, scorn wall dick dribble, and I mean. That's what we got, make the best of it. I'm kind of looking forward to trying that game. It looks freaky, man.
It does look freaky. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's gonna be for me. I've seen extended gameplay and it kind of looks a little slow. I would have expected that game to be a little bit more fast paced. So I'm more like looking forward to Callisto Protocol. That game looks absolutely fantastic.
And Dead Space remake for that matter, right?
Yeah. True.
Which one of those do you think is going to look better? That's going to be a good question because Callisto looked great, right? That's a cross-generation game. If that game comes out looking and performing similar to the next Dead Space, where they're bragging about how they're leveraging the hardware, which one's going to look better, do you think?
I think Callisto. Callisto is going to take the crown here.
We will see. It's from the original Dead Space creators, and I'm glad they're making it.
Absolutely. My only thing is I'm afraid that it might get banned here in Germany. Germany has these very strict rules when it comes to gore and stuff like that.
I got a question for you, Boxenberger, because you brought that up. We were playing Sniper Elite not too long ago, right? Sniper Elite 5. Yeah. And just let me know if you can't answer this or whatever. I have no idea, but I'm just curious. I actually made a joke about it because I was thinking about doing your show, and I was sniping these Nazis in the head, right? And I'm like, I wonder what Boxenberger's shooting right now. Do you guys get that? You don't get that same version of that game as us, do you?
We don't. In Germany, you are not allowed to use what's the English word for the Nazi symbol, swastika or something like that.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to depict that in entertainment products. So not in movies, books, and of course video games. It's the same with the Wolfenstein games.
A lot of people don't know, like those games are changed. The enemy is not the Nazis over there.
Yeah, they are usually called something like the regime or something like that, and they changed that symbol.
The regime.
Regime. I don't.
Right. So that's that. So in Wolfenstein 2, that's what they were called.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting. I just wanted to ask you, obviously, that whole situation is good to be left in the past, but you're right. They do change in that territory. You don't think that game may come over to Germany, you're saying?
Yeah. It's gotten better over the last years. They are a little bit more liberal now, but still a lot of games with a lot of gore get either censored and like Dying Light 2 this year, they
don't just have like a gore filter. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
like they can't
exactly. They remove the gore from that game, so you when you hit a zombie in the head, you kill the zombie, but you don't see anything splashing or something.
Not even like green blood or Kool-Aid or nothing.
No, nothing. They just removed it completely. And so I was wondering about Callisto Protocol because you've seen like the executions are really part of the gameplay. I don't know how to censor that.
Bro, you might not be playing Callisto Protocol. I'll let you know how it is though. That was cool, dude. You saw like that part where that dude bit that the main character's head in half. That was basically Sony fans when Last of Us was confirmed to become the PC. But yeah, I mean, that was beyond gory. And that's, you might not be playing that this holiday, sir. But I hope you do get it.
I mean, I'm going to import it somewhere from the Netherlands or something like that on this then. But
you just change the region to do that or something?
Oh, I will never, ever do that again. That's how I lost my first Xbox account. At the end of the 360 generation, I was changing the store to the UK, and it was either Doom or Wolfenstein that I wanted to buy or bought on the UK store, and Xbox banned my account for that. So I'm never going to do that again because I have 600 games or so on my account now, and I'm not losing that account. I'm not going to risk that.
That was the iron rule of, the old management. I think they might let you get away with it today. I see people doing it all the time, honestly.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't blame them.
Yeah, I'm not risking it. I'm just gonna import the disc if it's gonna be banned. So, yeah, but I can't wait to play it. No doubt, no doubt.
There's no
So
penalty if they find that over there or anything? Contraband?
No,
Nope.
no. That's okay.
I'm diving too deep into the semantics here. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no problem. It's like within the European Union, you can import everything. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Thank God, consoles aren't really region locked anymore. Then, huh? That's a good thing.
Not. Yeah, that's really a good thing. And you don't have to worry about PAL and NTSC versions like in the good old days. Yeah. So, yeah. Xbox at Gamescom. Do you think we can expect something in terms of announcement there, or is do you think this is gonna be only like on the show floor, playable demos for the fans?
There's always something there. It hasn't been big in a long time. I don't think there's been big news at Gamescom. I know that it's the biggest gaming event in the world, but at least before the pandemic, you guys had the most people cramming in there and playing games more than anyone.
300,000 people. It was insane.
That's nuts. How? What building is this in?
It's in multiple buildings.
Jeez, man,
it's you guys, an entire aerial.
You got that on lock. 300,000 people, and it's nuts. And that's why it's the biggest in the world. And but unfortunately, there's not as many big announcements there. But maybe I don't know why they would have held anything out of that E3 showcase. They needed a lot more, in my opinion. So if they held out anything decent, I'd probably be fucking annoyed, really, because that should already been out there.
They're with you.
They're like, hey, we're confirming Fable coming next year. It's like, what? No, they would never do that. Fable's a ways off, but
gameplay of out or something. Yeah, I don't know. I'm right there with you. I think this is mainly probably updates on the games that they have shown during the showcase. So we shall see.
They're going to talk some more about that little Samsung Xbox app, that you can Game Pass on and whatnot. Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
Probably not, though. But who knows?
Have you tried it on a TV app?
No. Only reason I've even seen it is because they showed it in their little media briefing before the showcase. I made a video about them sending me the invite to that, and they showed off how easy it is to actually connect. Like you use the Samsung Game Hub area, and the app's right there. You click it, you sign your controller to it, and you go. I mean, it seems pretty set and go.
Yeah. I've seen a few people like Paris Lily and so on tweet about it on Twitter. But I haven't tried it myself because I don't have Samsung TVs anymore. I only have the LGs nowadays. So I want to stay on the topic of Xbox and move the conversation back from Gamescom Germany to the US. Matt Piscatella from the NPD group, you probably have heard about him. He has given out some predictions for the year for the NPD group, what they expect for the rest of the year. They said, in terms of sales-wise, they expect to come they expect that Elden Ring will be number one selling game in 2022.
20 million plus, probably, yeah.
Yeah, even better than Call of Duty. And the Xbox Series X and S will be the only consoles to improve upon their sales in 2021, they said. What
does he mean by that? Over the previous fiscal year?
I want to quote here from an article I pulled from WCCF Tech. Maybe just read that to give some context here. Matt Piscatella said that with predictions for the full year, and the outlook isn't really overly sunny for the gaming industry. Following 2 years of impressive growth, Piscatella says he foresees an overall decline of around 9% for the North American video game industry. The Switch will likely end up to be the best-selling console of 22 in terms of unit sales, but it will be neck and neck with PS5 and Xbox Series X in terms of dollar sales. While Sony has promised a significant ramp-up in PS5 production this year, it seems like... pardon me, my script here is flipped. Piscatella is skeptical as he believes only the Xbox Series X will see any dollar sales growth compared to 2021. So basically what he's saying is that the NPD group thinks like the Nintendo and Sony will sell or make less revenue out of console sales than last year, this year, and the only company that grows their sales compared
will be
to
Xbox and
will be Xbox.
He's talking about both Series S and X, right?
Yes,
so,
of course.
Yeah.
Always the combination, the Series.
Well, according to Boxenberger, that the cheaper one shouldn't count.
Yeah, I've heard that. I have no idea why.
The base model Samsung TV shouldn't count and go in with the other Samsung sales because they're different prices. It's kind of weird how that logic works when something's doing well. Up until it was doing well, the excuse was, well, it's the most pointless console in the world. No one will buy that. And then they start buying it, and they're like, make it stop. Why are they counting it, right? So, man, it's crazy.
It is. I think like the Series S is the Trojan horse of this generation. It's like really a super smart idea, because who would have thought that you start this new console generation, not just with the pandemic, but then we are at the brink of a recession on a global scale, and having a cheap option as an entry point for console gaming is just a brilliant idea. And the console, I know you have one, obviously. It just performs.
Boxenberger,
so well.
If I sent you this video I made in 2018, it'd blow your mind, okay?
Yeah. Which one are you referring to?
I'm referring to the one where I said that Microsoft would release 2 consoles this generation with the same APU on the CPU side. They would be identical. Of course, GPU side, they would be different power levels, and they would sell them to you like they do today at the time, the Xbox One S and the One X. And it's a genius plan for obvious reasons. There's a reason that the Xbox One S sold better than the X. The Series S will always sell better than the X as long as it is at that impulse buy range. $300 is a steal. It's an absolute steal for anyone who knows anything about performance.
I've seen it here on sale now. Recently, it was like $259 at Amazon here in Germany, which is, like you said, it's impulse buy.
And it's changing the way people think. It really is. And it's changing people's perception of Xbox. Yeah. For example, I bought probably 7 or 8 of these Xboxes behind the scenes for people that can't afford them or can't get a hold of them. And my buddy Tony, he was a PlayStation guy, right? He wanted one of these Xboxes. I got him a Series S. I sent it to him in Washington, and he's now a full-time Xbox gamer because getting to know the UI and the ecosystem and playing the games, and then finding out when I told him about Game Pass, it blew his mind right out of his skull. And he's been playing more games than he ever has, and he's the Game Pass guy now on an Xbox Series S, right? That's kind of the power of something like a Series S. It gets in there. You see how quick it is. It's delivering what are great visuals, even though the features are still not being used and all that stuff. It's just a total package for the money, man.
It absolutely is. I have so many friends living here in the same city, and that are usually PlayStation guys. PlayStation is just way more popular here in Germany. Like last generation, PlayStation outsold Xbox 5-1. So it's really not
so last generation you were the weird kid. And,
the weird guy. Yeah. I've always been the weird guy because I've been with Xbox since the OGs.
We're sitting over on the Xbox side. We're like, we'll take the weird guy. Yeah. I mean, it's a good thing though, because look, now they're coming over to Xbox.
Yes, they are. I really, I had a discussion with one of my friends, and I said, like, dude, you gonna sell your PS4 for the same amount of money, almost the same amount of money he got for the used PS4. He bought the Series S, and I said, if you're not enjoying yourself with that console, I'm gonna pay for a PS5 for you. And he was really like, okay, I'm gonna take that bet. And I have a few trial codes for Game Pass. I gave him, of course, a Game Pass code with him, and he was like, he's never gonna leave the system anymore. It's just the value combination with Game Pass and the Series S is phenomenal. It just is.
It definitely does change how people think about gaming for sure. Game Pass, I can't tell you how much people cannot believe what they're hearing when you're telling them about what Game Pass is. You can play this $60 game as much as you want, plus the other 200 whatever, and then the other 100 games that are not, all for $10 a month. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. Yeah, man, I'm Series S. I could talk about it forever. I find it crazy that you talked about this in what did you say, 2018?
Yeah, June 2018. I'll send you the video actually.
Yeah. Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I was on top of this stuff. That was like you said. You didn't see that, and you've been watching since the 1X.
Yeah, I probably have seen it, but
did,
honestly, it's like for 4 years.
Video did like 100,000 or 80,000 or something. Boxenberger's the only guy to see it. Yeah, I mean, it was you probably don't know about this generation specs either. The 4 and the 12 coming from my channel and all that.
Yeah, I know about that.
Okay.
I know that you guys talked about this as the first.
Well, we were the first ones saying yes. These are the numbers. Yes. If they were set or not, is irrelevant. These are the numbers.
Yeah.
And I bet my channel on that shit. And there's gonna be 2 models. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So again, we can talk about Series S all day because it's so great. But we're still trying to convince everyone else it's great. They have to kind of see it to believe it, right? That's kind of my experience.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. And I want to move over to Halo Infinite.
Ooh.
Got some news. I think yesterday it was posted that an old veteran from Bungie, Paul Bertone, or I hope that's how it's pronounced, is joining now 343 Industries as the studio's technical design director. He used to work on Halo 1 to 3 ODST Reach during for more than a decade at Bungie. And he is now joining 343. So
they're hiring Bungie
Halo
employees now, huh?
Yeah. They're hiring them. They want to bring Halo back to what it was during the Bungie days.
I was told, recently that they won't hire Bungie employees, and I was like, what? So this is kind of cool to see, like bring back some of that talent that helped. Yeah. And did you hear about what's happening with the Melee, the desync?
I've seen that. I found the response very, very weird. To address that in a way like, we know about the problem, but honestly, we don't care. We have too many other things we are working on. They
have to track down a contractor, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, because they contracted so much of the game out, there's 1,000 people working on this thing at once, one time. They basically had someone that was contracted working with the Melee system, and when it snapped, right, when it broke, that guy isn't there anymore. So they have to track down Chuck from fucking Louisiana, bring his ass back to California or wherever the hell, and work on the game. Like stuff like this is starting to happen. Not really Chuck, not really Louisiana, but you get my point. It's kind of weird when you got a guy working on the core part of the whole gun, shoot, grenade, and melee. That's Halo, right? You got someone working on one of those 3, they better not be fucking contracted, in my opinion. It's too important.
I agree. And outsourcing stuff to external studios is like, the industry I work on, we also outsource a lot of stuff, but the challenge is, of course, when you do that, to manage and oversee that exactly this is not happening. So you always have to be able to take stuff back to you and continue the work. Otherwise, because you will always run into these issues. People just leave the company from the contractor, they get hired by another one, and then suddenly know-how is gone. Stuff like that happens.
Apparently, they do have that level of oversight, but it clearly failed. And obviously, whoever's watching the guy do it, the guy watching the guy wasn't watching the guy, right? So everyone's got to. If there's one weak link, the whole system fails. Absolutely.
So now with this new guy from Bungie, what do you think? Will Halo be able to redeem itself when like either co-op comes out, or we all hope about a big map pack in for season 3. Do you think Halo gets back with the player numbers? Will it get a second chance?
Yeah, apparently, Battlefield 2042 was giving it around for his money not long ago on Steam, I guess, or some shit. I mean, it's crazy to me. But Halo, the reason people are upset with it is because they like the game a lot. The gunplay is and it's phenomenal. You feel like a badass. You could not play a video game for a year, come back to Halo Infinite, and it just feels great. Like, at least I have it dialed in. You feel like a badass playing that game, and it is a letdown that there's no content post-launch and the bugs. They just updated it again. People can't find matches. Worse now in the high-end rankings. There's a lot of stuff happening there. The technical stuff, ray tracing, obviously nowhere near being. They just said we're not even going to mention it. Apparently, we just suck. I don't know, but they need stuff out. And is this guy? What'd you say he was doing specifically?
Hang on. His title is the studio's technical design director.
Technical design director.
Yeah.
Apparently he's going to be the new head of one of those small snakes of the studio, right? He's leading a group of guys, and he'll report to the guy up above him. But, I guess it ain't going to hurt him. I'll tell you that, right?
Yeah. I made yesterday the joke about it's gonna be cool for Halo Infinite 2. Not
only next generation, probably.
Yeah, probably. Launch game for
I don't know if you want to give a few shout outs in the chat or something. I gotta get a thing of water. I'm dying over here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's give a few shout outs. Of course, I see a lot of familiar faces here. Big shout out to Outbreak Podcast, who is always here to support the show. We have Stuff Sean, Smokey Joe, Pyro in the chat. Everyone's Idol Goro is also in there. We have Kirby Louise, Smokey. We have Shay from the Netherlands, our brother. Shout out to you guys. If you haven't already, hit the like button, consider the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And shout
out to Kirby. Kirby. I see him, and I see a lot of these guys in the chat all the time. Shout out to all you guys for watching, man. Those that are here, hit the like button and tell somebody we're live.
Yeah, thanks, man. And I was just about to advertise something I'm gonna do in 2 weeks. We have a very special episode of the World of Gaming coming up. I invited a lot of people here from the community, people that are regularly here in chat and that usually don't do podcasts. So I will have a panel full of 5 awesome people from the community, and it's all their premiere podcast, the first time that they're doing one. It's going to be a lot of fun, but I was looking for a way to involve you guys that come by here each and every week a little bit more directly. So we're going to do that in 2 weeks on July 21st. Of course, stay tuned on Twitter. I'm going to announce that with all the community members that will be joining there. Yeah, man.
You can't give us a sneak peek of some of the people coming on for the first time?
Oh, of course. We have Dave Ramos coming on. He is fantastic community member, always there for great discussion. We have Astrays Gaming from all the way from Australia. He actually said he's gonna get up early to join the show.
He does do a show now, though, right? He does do a show with Red Panda. And
he just started that. Yeah. I seen
it's
that.
It's still cool though to have Astray on for sure.
Absolutely. So then we have Peter. Peter, his Twitter handle is PeterP85. He's absolutely awesome. True passionist for video games. With Redry coming on, and we have one maybe. So I'm just gonna wait for that to announce. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun in 2 weeks. Can't wait to have those guys on. But Dealer,
there will definitely be more topics too in 2 weeks, probably.
Hopefully. We have one more other thing I wanted to ask you. Xbox announced a big change for games with gold. They are not gonna include the 360 games anymore.
Yeah, they ran out, Boxenberger. There's no more
They've
back
given it all
compat
the way.
360 games that they could possibly give you,
True. Yeah, you think that's gonna hurt Xbox games with gold? In any way, shape,
it will
or
help
form?
them because nobody actually cares about those older three. I'm not saying you don't play them, but I'm saying there are far better things they could be giving you for your money.
Absolutely.
Because remember, they're not free. You are giving them money to receive this perk, and they're making a ton of money on the service. They have plenty of money to spend with it. So I think they could definitely slot that out and slot something else in. And if they got to get rid of it altogether, I don't care. If they got to do that and they can improve Game Pass, because that's when that service really went way downhill when Game Pass hit. They are literally in each other's way in a way, right? They just it's a thing they're going to get rid of eventually. So just I don't know. I would like to see something a little bit more modern. I haven't cared about hardly anything Games with Gold for years, and that's because everything in there, almost everything, has been years old.
Absolutely,
and I've already beaten it.
Yeah. For the last, at least I want to say 2 years, if not 3, the offerings are really poor. And I've always said, either do 2 things. Don't give out 4 games, reduce it to 1, and improve the quality of that game that you're giving out. We all would benefit from that, or just get rid of it. Find a way to bring Game Pass and Games with Gold together, and just have one Xbox subscription there. One
newer game that kind of still has a little buzz around it, instead of
at least
a couple games that you're not even going to bother to download, most likely.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to add everything that they offered each and every month to my library, but I'm not bothering anymore. Honestly, it's so yeah. One last topic I have here on my list. No, actually, I have 2. Almost skipped one. Bright Memory Infinite is coming out this month. Finally.
Which Bright Memory Infinite, though? Because there seems to be 2 versions out there. the version I played is not the damn shit they showed off, okay?
No, this time it's apparently the good one.
What was the last one? Shit. I mean, I was very shocked.
Infinite, that was only Bright Memory. That was the initial game that they put out on Steam, and it was just ported over. And then they have Bright Memory Infinite, which is the good one.
Which they're are they the same thing? Just one's got better graphics?
No, they are different. It's a different game. It got more of a story now, and the gameplay mechanics are refined, and it is obviously different levels, and so yeah, it is a different game. Comes out July 21st. It will support ray tracing at 4K, and it will have 120 frames mode.
So that 120 FPS mode right there, I mean, we know that 60 FPS with ray tracing is possible in the game. Question is, will we see it? Because it seems to be very, very specific developers that deliver on quality and know they're going to try to push the hardware that will try to deliver on that kind of stuff, like Doom Eternal, full ray trace reflections, 60 FPS. The game looks phenomenal. There's other games that do ray tracing 60 FPS. Forza's another one. But will
Metro,
this game
I
always
want
FPS?
to mention Metro.
Global
Metro
Illumination in there
Exodus.
is phenomenal.
Yeah.
People do write that game. That's the Series S even pushing that game to 60 FPS with ray trace GI. It's the first game in the world that needed a ray trace GPU to play it. And the consoles get that addition with the upgrade. It's possible, guys. And I hate seeing when people see 30 FPS ray tracing, that's not the developers. That's not the consoles, guys. The developers have to make that choice to drop the resolution or use FSR 2.0 and other features to get that performance. They don't have it, but that's a tangent just to say, I hope this shit has ray tracing at 60 FPS,
Yeah, they didn't say at the frame rates of the ray tracing mode. They just said that they will have 120 frames per second mode. So, we shall see. But I'm right there with you. I don't think it's the consoles that can't do 60 FPS with ray tracing enabled. It's the sacrifices that developers don't want to make. Like
during
you said,
a time
like
when people are trying to develop from home still a little bit, and things are still adjusting, and it's like the Dying Light 2 thing. Like that game came out 1080p 60 we're like, what the hell? The game does almost 100 FPS in BRS mode or BRR mode. They could easily run this at like 1440, 60, and they updated the shit like a few days later, a week later, and now it runs at a high resolution. Like, this is just what's happening, man. People are dropping stuff, and they're not necessarily optimizing it for the best, right?
Yeah, agree. I just wanted to mention that because, fun fact, it was the first game that they have shown with gameplay running on the Series X. Back in May 2020 at that event. It was their show opener, and then the game basically disappeared from the face of the earth. And then this, like he said, this weird version dropped, and now we are like 2 years later, and now it's finally coming out, guys.
That's this month too. Like, what'd you say?
Yeah.
What date?
July 21st.
I'm gonna pick it up for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Always looking for games to play these days. It's like, even with third-party releases, it's really dry at the moment. Until September starts, we are not having any major releases. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna pick it up and give it a try. And yeah, the last thing of the day. I know you're a Mass Effect fan. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
So, and we got it is small, but it is something about Mass Effect, because the Deus Ex, I don't know how to pronounce it in English.
Deus Ex and Guardians
Deus
of the
Ex,
Galaxy writers.
Yeah, exactly. They joined the team, and they are working now on the next Mass Effect. Mary Demerol is her name, and she joined as a senior narrative director for the next Mass Effect game.
Shout out to Mary. You said her name was Mary?
Mary Demerol.
Shout out to her, because Guardians of the Galaxy, if you haven't played that game, I don't know, man. There's no excuse. Like, the game is...
No, there isn't.
Especially if you like the movies and you haven't played the game. I mean, a lot of people like the game more than they like the movie, and they did such a great job with the dialogue. It's unlike anything you've really ever played in your life, and it is one of the must-plays on Series X and PS5. But I'm glad, man. If they're catching her for this, then that's a good thing in my opinion, because Guardians was expertly written.
It was, absolutely. It was the big surprise for me last year, because I didn't expect anything from that game. After they shown that first initial gameplay segment, I was like, I'm gonna wait. And I actually waited. I didn't buy it at launch. I bought it on a sale a little later. I think it was like the fall sale or something like that. And then I started to play it, and it doesn't happen often that I have to really laugh out loud while playing a game, but this game was just so good.
That was
so
like one of the game. You ever had those games where you're like, I'm itching to jump back into this game, right? Like, you just want to keep playing it. And
yeah,
I've had games where I'm like enjoying it and I'm playing it whenever whenever I'm gaming, right? But Guardians, I was like having to review other games at the time, like Horizon 5, for example. I love Horizon 5, but it was making me like, man, I want to play Guardians a lot right now, but I got to get through Horizon 5 for this review. And, that Guardians is that good. Like, I'm not saying it's better than Horizon 5, but at that time, it's what I needed from a single-player game, and it was just great.
Yeah, and since I'm running out of Cyberpunk gameplay anyway, I'm just going to switch to a little Guardians gameplay. So there we go. That game is phenomenal. And it's on Game Pass now, so no excuse to not play it. Yeah, man. But that's about all the news I could pull for this show. I always end this show with a little segment that I call community questions, because sometimes people can't watch live, they listen on demand, and I also want to participate those guys. And so a lot of people wrote in a couple of questions. And if you have another 10, 15 minutes, I would...
Yeah, of course.
It would be awesome to answer some of them. So the first is directly addressed to you from Chris Park. He says, Bugsy, could you ask Dealer if he still has any plans to upload RDX to podcast feeds, as listening via YouTube is a real pain. Much love to you to you both from the UK.
I got that question on Boom Show yesterday too. Yeah. I hear you guys. Again, I had announced it originally, I think last year. There was a lot of shit that hit since then that delayed it, and since then moved back in, settled in, and I've been honestly was working on a bunch of skits and stuff for it. Right, I wanted to make it a little different, add some dumbass skits, but since then, now getting a complete redesign on the podcast, and I'm going to be talking about the audio version of that more when that redesign of the podcast is all set up. So when you see RDX on YouTube look different, that's when I'll be addressing that, and it should be soon. It's in the works now. So I hear you, man. I've been hearing you guys. I'm just, again, coming around on a lot of stuff, and obviously getting in position to go hard. And then just when Xbox decided to say fuck off, check back in 12 months. But again, we're gonna make this a great year, and I'll have that stuff up there, and along with the new RDX stuff going on as well.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, sometimes it is for people that don't do these things. Is like setting up these things. The initial setup is the most work, and
after that, it's kind of copy paste,
Yeah, exactly. So once you have it, it is easy. But setting everything up, it just takes a lot of time, and you are busy. You're a busy man.
Well, I'll be honest. I could have had it done, of course, before now, but I had certain plans that fell through, and it was all kicked off by COVID as well. But I'm gonna get to it now with this new design, and it's actually going to happen this time, buddy. So I apologize for the wait.
Awesome stuff. Dave Ramos, he's one of the guys who will be on the community special in 2 weeks. He writes in a question, says, if Xbox does make a handheld console, I've seen a lot of talk lately about an Xbox handheld, where would it need to be priced to remain competitive? Do prices of Switch, Series S, and Steam Deck act as ceilings in the mind of consumers?
There is no handheld.
You don't think so?
No, there's no handheld.
Yeah.
For one, we there's 1,000 reasons why, but we can stick to a few. You already got a handheld in your pocket. It's called a phone, number one. They're pushing cloud, next cloud, and all this stuff for a reason, right? They want to bring that to every user with a phone. That's an Xbox user base to them, right? But also just think about the hardware. You're talking about something that needs to be as quick as a Series S, at least, right? It needs to have this equivalency of RAM. It needs to, again, have around 4 teraflops of this kind of power. Not some kind of, when Steam Deck measures its power, it says per pixel. That screen has how many pixels? Okay. There's marketing, they mix marketing into all that to make it seem like it's anywhere near a Series X. It's not even close. Yeah. And this handheld would, in reality, need to be a Series S in your hand. And, that's not possible right now at that scale. The chips are not small enough. They consume way too much power for that as well. And just think of the heat alone. The Series S is their hottest console as it is. So, putting that into a handheld is not going to be easy. And unless you're talking about in several years, and by then, I think that technology is still going to be $400 or $500 at least. And also think about the fact that that's the only way they could really do a handheld, because if they didn't, developers would have to build another version of their games for that handheld. That's the last thing they want to do, and it goes directly against Microsoft's messaging of cohesion. Play anywhere on anything. Guess what? Build one version of the game. It just works across everything. This handheld would basically need to be a Series S clone to run games natively like that without any developer input. That's just how it would have to be.
Yeah.
I just don't see a logical reason for a handheld to exist. It's a lot of money, and they're growing like crazy. They're expanding their cloud infrastructure, and of course, Series S and X are selling amazingly. The handheld is not in demand at all, and while they do realize that Nintendo is pretty much competing with themselves right now, they know they have something much bigger right now. From a global aspect, nobody's leveraging gaming like Microsoft are or can, and that's not going to change in the next 30 years.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to add one other reason. I think from a developer perspective, adding a third SKU that they have to optimize for is probably not going to be received with a lot of enthusiasm.
Yeah, that's why I said it has to be a Series S.
Exactly. Yeah, it has to be a Series S, really like exactly the same architecture. And they, like you said, at the very, very beginning, they already have that, and it's called xCloud. So that is a system that doesn't need the developers to do extra work, unless they want to optimize, of course, with touch controls or something. But in general, every Xbox game that runs on the Series X runs on the cloud as well. And I think that they will improve upon that instead of making handheld devices. Nanopolymath.
Good question, though. Good question,
though. Definitely. Nanopolymath writes in and says, between God of War, Forza Motorsport, Stray, and the possibility of an Xbox handheld, besides PC gamers, 343 next, what are you most excited to get your wieners hands on?
Wiener hands on Bucks next too. Forza Motorsport.
Next to
Forza Motorsport, bar none. That game is everything that I hoped it would be from a technical aspect. As you know, we've been talking about how these teams are going to be able to leverage ray tracing 60 FPS and do all these great things at what is very high fidelity and resolutions. And this is a ways from launch, guys. So of course I expect these things to get even better. The question on that game, though, is content, right? We don't know how many cars they're starting from the ground up again with. Yeah. We don't know how many tracks they're doing this to again with. If we look at last generation's launching Forza, it was 17 tracks and around 230 cars, and that was from 700 cars and 30 tracks. So I expect to take a hit, but I don't want to go another generation where we're by the end of the Forza reboot, we're back up to 700 cars. I like to get up far past that this time, and tracks. Yeah. We need more.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it would be probably like from the announced stuff. It's in between Diablo 4 and of course Starfield. And I also want to mention Avowed. I'm just a big fan of Skyrim, and I love the Obsidian games. All of them.
I mean, all those games are amazing. I'm super excited for all of them. Forza is my,
I know you're a big Forza guy.
When I was competing in that game, I was running the top, 80 times in cars that had no business being up there, and I plan to get really hard involved in motorsport and get back into that. So I'm just super excited.
Yeah, I know you love the tuning and everything. I'm more for arcade races, so Forza Horizon is more my. It's more for me, but I'm definitely gonna play a lot of it. It's just from a technical standpoint alone, as such an impressive game. I can't wait to see that. I've got another question. If from Christopher Jones, he writes in and says, if you had to guess the release month in 2023 for each of Forza, Redfall, Diablo, and Starfield, where do you see Microsoft, Bethesda, ABK dropping them?
Yes, good question. I think I've said this before, but Forza, again, if it wasn't hit in 2022, it'd be as late as March. I kind of like that earlier release for Forza. They've always slapped it in the back half, and it's been another game in the mix, right? But now it can have a little bit more of deserved light on it. And I don't know, for some reason March or April sounds good to me. I have no actual idea. Same for any of the other games. Redfall, why not February? Starfield, I'm not entirely convinced that game's coming out in the next 6 or 12 months rather. But maybe let's say, I really don't know. June. And then June. What was the other one?
Diablo.
Basically
those the big four for next year.
Let's say May on that one. I don't know if that comes out.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're probably right. I also would start with a Redfall in hopefully February. Because if it's not February, I don't know, then they have all these the big four games, assuming of course that they still come out in the first half, squeezed in 2 or 3 months. So that these days this sounds very much like Xbox, but obviously it would be smart to spread them out a little bit. So having like a Redfall in February, then a Forza in March.
They didn't say these are the games we're showing in the next 14 months or 15. They said 12. So it's like, so 12, you guys have to have something in the next 6, right? So, or there better not be a drought again, right? Once the dam breaks, the games need to start coming and kind of not stop. But what do you think they would release in the 6 months after that, though, Boxenberg?
That's a very good question. So, I think like Hellblade is definitely a possibility. They have shown a lot from that game, actually the most from besides, of course, now Starfield, Redfall, and Forza, but they have announced that game along with the console. They have shown Dev Diaries in between. They have shown gameplay at the Game Awards. So, yeah, I think that has definitely the potential to come out in the holiday season next year. And I also think Avowed has a realistic chance. We know, like, our buddies Chess and Randall Thor have actually seen that game. And they said it looked pretty far along when they have seen it. There was,
I don't know.
Like,
I think Hellblade would definitely be the first of the big games that are going to come out. That's why they've shown... I'm talking about ones that they didn't show at the event, right? Because they've shown a lot of Hellblade before now. Yeah. And Phil doesn't like showing stuff. He doesn't like showing CG, and then gameplay. Like, they showed gameplay, for the first time, really, recently. And that means that the next time you see it, hopefully it is close to coming out.
Yeah, I agree. So Hellblade and maybe Avowed for the second half. And then maybe one of these smaller titles that we have heard, like Project Belfry, something like that. I don't think anymore, honestly, the way how the studios are handled, that like a Fable is realistic next year. Perfect Dark, I don't see that happening either. I think it's in between Hellblade and Avowed.
And
what do you think outside of Hellblade?
Greenberg came out recently and said, well, we have stuff, that we didn't announce. Obviously, you should always have stuff you didn't announce, but I don't really care to even hear the new announcements, honestly, because we've had so many that we've not seen any of. So another new one isn't really going to do much for us at this point on a morale level or actual playing games level. I would like to see some of these games actually hit. It'd be nice.
Yeah, I agree there. They have the way I counted it, it is like we know about 19 games that are either announced or definitely in the making. Like, they don't have to announce the Gears. We know that that they're working on that. So if you add that up, it's like 19 games, and it's time to release them before we need to know about more games coming that are like 5 years out. I don't know. State of Decay 3 is one I would hope for, but I don't think that this is a 23 title. Sure would love it.
I played the hell out of State of Decay 2, love State of Decay 1. 3 is like that's the first studio I ever heard of in my life where like they're like, we had too much freedom, like they Xbox didn't tell us what to do good enough, so we fucked up. Like, I've never thought I would hear that. It's the literal opposite of what I was hearing some Microsoft would do to these studios, and somehow they still managed to mess it up there. So I don't know. I know that studios always had some issues, even with the games they have released. Great concepts, not necessarily executed super well. Not necessarily always their own fault in some ways, but State of Decay 3, man, I mean, I'm even wondering who they were talking to that told them, yes, we should show them a trailer right now, CG trailer. It's that far out, but they had to have known it was, years out. Apparently it's in a, they're finding themselves phase. They're going to figure out and try to build out this kind of grander scope, not development hell, just kind of like God of War 2018, right? It took them years to basically figure out they wanted to make the God of War of 2018, and they knew that, that's going to take time and investment. That's not development hell. It's kind of coming up with a good concept and executing on it. So I'm excited for 3.
Yeah, me too. Like you said, the second one was so addictive. It was like, one more house, I'm gonna loot one more house, and it was like 3 a.m. and the next day I regretted it and did it all over again. So yeah. No, I think like a lot of these early announcements and the CG announcements, it was like one of the criticisms that Xbox has no games was obviously one, and the other one is that we didn't know about the roadmap for Xbox. And I think to some degree, in the beginning of a generation, it kind of makes sense to tell people, okay, if you invest in the ecosystem right now, you can look forward to this, and this. This is basically how PlayStation is. This a page out of PlayStation's book. Yeah, they have done that for years. That they tell people like, okay, eventually these games come out. If you remember Death Stranding, that game was announced before Kojima even had an engine for that game. Yeah. So, and it sells hope, yeah. But of course, at some point you have to deliver, and yeah, it looks like we have to wait a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Microsoft, I don't. Again, you gotta have the right guy in the studio to say, look, we do know what we're doing. We're gonna hit this date. This is why. Here's our concepts, and it's good. This is the game. You gotta have the right guy to be honest with these executives, and it's up to the executives to keep tabs and know what's really happening, because that's actually what happened. That's how Halo got revealed the way it did in 2020. Was or was that 2019? Which one was that? I think it's 2020.
2020. Yeah.
We had Major Nelson on the podcast live asking him why the mountains were popping in the background. That's how that game got shown off that way, is because basically somebody at 343 lied about the state of the game and how somebody, some people didn't notice some of the stuff on a cell phone, but I just don't believe nobody over there saw that in time and they showed it off like that on accident. It's definitely somebody lying over there, and there were people let go after that.
Yeah, agreed. These kind of things, they get reviewed over and over again usually, and I know 2020 was special. Yeah, everyone was surprised by the pandemic and everything, but still, like you said, everyone from us looked at it once and immediately noticed it. So yeah, there was just something weird. Man, I hear you coughing, so I don't want to keep you too long. Last question. Last question for you from Dreadpool. He asks, why does Dealer Gaming have a soul patch?
A soul patch? If I had a soul patch, I'd have a soul. Yeah, I definitely don't have a soul patch, man, but we can rub our beers together, Dreadpool, if that's what you're trying to get at. JK. Shout out to Dreadpool, man. He's a cool guy. Always fun to talk to. And Dread, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. People talk, just because you don't speak to somebody in a while, and they just, get the wrong perception of you, or they catch you on a bad day. And, Dread has been one of those guys that has always, made up his own decisions in his own mind and kind of kept doing his thing. And I respect Dreadpool for that. He's one of those guys.
Absolutely. I know him for a while now, like 2 years at least. We've been on multiple podcasts together, been on his show. We had chats in private. He's a really cool dude. Shout out to Dreadpool. Yeah, man. I want to wrap the show up. Thank you so much for joining, Dealer. It's been a blast. Appreciate you coming on, even though you're sick. Means a lot.
Yeah, no problem.
So, of course, I hope you get better soon. Hope it's nothing serious.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think I'll be all right, man. It's just doing these shows at this time probably is the opposite of what I should be doing. But I want to try to get these and hang out with some of these guys. Even though it's kind of a low period, man, it's still good to have these shows. And shout out to guys that actually show up to every show. They're the ones who power all the shows, and without you guys, there's no shows. So thank you guys very much. Hit the like button, and of course, tell a buddy or two about some of your favorite channels. And if you haven't subscribed here, follow me on YouTube at Dealer Gaming and Twitter at Dealer_Gaming, Xbox Live II space Dealer space II. And thanks for having me on, man. Seriously.
No. No, again, thanks for joining. And if all these links to his channel and socials were too fast, you can click into the show note description. I put it all in there so you can find Dealer easily. If you haven't subscribed, definitely check him out. Again, man, thanks for coming on. I want to also say a big thank you to everyone in the chat for all the support. Really appreciate it. Like Dealer said, without you, there wouldn't be a show. Means so much that you guys come out to the show, listen to it, and are active in chat. It means so much. And yeah, we will be back next week, of course, with Wandering Dutch joining the World of Gaming next week. And in 2 weeks, we have the already announced community special. So yeah, thanks again to everyone for showing up. And don't forget to game on.